Now on Denver 7 News, a woman is dead and 2 pastors are recovering after a shooting inside an Aurora church.
Investigators are working hard to identify this suspect, track him down, and hopefully arrest him.
Plus, heroic moments captured on video showing the moments a hostage is rescued. That woman kidnapped while working at Michael Bloomberg's Colorado ranch.
I do expect to see a high percentage of staff leaving Douglas County schools.
Less than 24 hours after Douglas County superintendent gets ousted, new protests planned. We sit down with the teachers union about how staff will move forward after the school board's decision. Good evening and thanks for joining us for Denver 7 News at 5. I'm Bayan Wang. A woman is dead and 2 pastors are injured after a shooting inside an Aurora church last night. This happened just after 8 p.m. at the Iglesia Faro de Luz church near the intersection of 6th Avenue and North Airport Boulevard. Denver 7's Colette Bordelon joins us live now outside the church. Colette, police are still searching for the suspect here.
Yeah, and we know, Bayan, it wasn't a random shooting. The suspect had some kind of a relationship with one of the victims. Which victim that was, police didn't exactly say last night. Check out this new video. We just got surveillance video from a nearby business the moment that cops were on the scene last night. There were more than a dozen people inside when everything happened. The woman who died in the shooting hasn't been identified. We do know she was 36 years old. The 2 men shot are pastors in their 40s. They're expected to be okay. There was one other person taken to the hospital last night for medical issues not related directly to the shooting. Police didn't have specifics on what kind of gun was used or how many shots were fired, but any shell casings found on the scene will be used to try and trace that gun to the person behind it. They'll also be looking into surveillance video around the complex.
We're working to positively identify the suspect. We have information on who they might be. But obviously our investigators need to make sure that we pinpoint exactly who it is before we put any other information out about that.
If you know absolutely anything that could help police find the shooter, they want you to call Crime Stoppers. That phone number, 720-913-7867. You can stay anonymous while reporting any information. Could even get a reward of up to $2,000. We did speak to some people around this complex who were here when it happened. They didn't actually hear anything, but they said they saw all of the police activity. We also obtained in that surveillance video the moment that the shooting happened, and you can hear a couple of gunshots. Live in Aurora, Colette Bordelon, Denver 7.
Certainly a very scary scene there, Colette. Good reporting. Thank you. All right, new tonight on Denver 7, we're getting a look at dramatic video from Cheyenne police rescuing a woman who was being held hostage. Before we go more in depth on the video, let's walk you through the timeline. On Wednesday, a woman was kidnapped at gunpoint while working at a ranch in Rio Blanco County. That's just northwest of Glenwood Springs. Denver 7 did some digging and found out that the ranch belongs to Mike Bloomberg, the former New York City mayor. The suspect, Joseph Beecher, made several stops in the Denver metro with the victim, Amanda Edinger, before going up to Wyoming. Cheyenne police just released this video right here showing the moments they contacted the suspect and victim at the Stagecoach Motel. Turns out there was already a fire in a neighboring room unrelated to this kidnapping, but the SWAT team was able to rescue Edinger and arrest the suspect. Beecher is now in jail facing multiple charges, including kidnapping and felony menacing. It's still not clear why he traveled to Bloomberg's ranch. Investigators say the victim and suspect did not know each other. It's been nearly 2 years since the start of this pandemic here in Colorado, and one man is reflecting on the last year. On February 8th, 2021, he was admitted to the hospital during a battle with the virus and was given a very slim chance of survival. Well, tonight, nearly a year later, he's alive to share his story with Denver 7's Christian Lopez.
It was devastating. Not knowing what COVID was, you just don't know what to expect. You don't know what's going to happen.
The Gonzalez family's biggest fear became a reality when their dad Jaime contracted a severe case of the coronavirus in February of 2021. This after suffering a stroke and battling pneumonia just a few years earlier.
They tell me, you know, he's 1% chance. We highly recommend to bring your family, to bring your siblings, and just say goodbye to him. Poco a poquito. How are you going to tell your siblings, your younger siblings, that his dad is going to die?
Gonzalez was in a coma, intubated and put on an ECMO machine, which provides heart and lung support. The days in the hospital turned into months, but despite all odds against them, his family did not lose hope and did what they could to help.
I couldn't sleep, I couldn't eat. I was just focused on my dad, and until I came across a research paper, and I was showing it to the doctors, and at first they said it's not possible.
Jaime's oldest son, Jesus, suggested a rare steroid treatment, and with few options left, one doctor agreed to try it.
And she did. She did take a leap of faith on us because we told her that we were people of faith. That we believe God was going to be there for us.
2 months into being hospitalized, on Easter Sunday, which also happened to be Jaime's youngest son's birthday, a miracle happened. The dad of 3 woke up.
Bueno, me sentí emocionado y me dieron más ánimos para seguir adelante.
Jaime tells me he remembers that moment. He was surrounded by his family and his mother. After seeing their excitement, that gave him the same feeling and motivation to push forward. Jaime spent exactly 100 days in the hospital before making it home on May 20th, 2021.
His health is continuing just being better. It's amazing.
2 times 10.
Jaime has been able to resume his normal life with some restrictions. His message to those who hear his story is this.
La vida es muy bonita y yo creo que hay que disfrutarla.
Life is beautiful, and it's something that should be enjoyed by everyone. In Denver, Christian Lopez, Denver 7.
Wow, truly a miracle. Christian, thank you. Mask mandates have expired in 2 more counties in the Denver metro today. Adams and Arapahoe counties no longer require face coverings in many indoor places. This comes after Denver and Broomfield let their mandates expire yesterday. It's important to note that individual businesses can still require you to wear a mask or ask for proof of vaccination. We spoke to a local health expert who says we need to be careful and not remove too many restrictions too quickly.
Instead of this up and down, like coming up and going down this way, it's going up, and now we're turning the corner coming down. Instead of this going, it's going to go a little plateau off like this and maybe slowly go down if we take off all the restraints, right? And we don't do the practices that we know works.
More mask orders are coming to an end in the metro. Larimer County's mandate ends next weekend, and the mandate in Jefferson County will expire on the 18th. The Children's Museum of Denver is back open as of this morning. It temporarily closed after conflicts between visitors and staff over the mask policy. Even though the mask mandate in Denver is no longer in place, the museum has decided to still require face coverings for those ages 3 and older. And this may be the reason why so many mask mandates are going away. Colorado is seeing a dramatic decrease in cases and hospitalizations. Let's compare the data from the last 2 Fridays here. The state reported about 3,700 new cases yesterday. Compare that to more than 7,000 new cases reported last Friday. And just over 1,000 Coloradans are in the hospital for COVID-19 right now. That's 400 less than last Friday. Well, it's no surprise our healthcare workers have been working endlessly on the front lines of this pandemic. Many have left their jobs because of burnout, but UC Health is now teaming up with Guild Education to fully fund education for employees who want to pursue or advance a career in healthcare. It's called the Ascend program, and UC Health says it will pay for clinical certifications and even specific learning programs in careers where there's a large need for workers. That includes behavioral health and social work. The program's goal is to teach the next generation of healthcare workers.
A big part of what we do is patient care. And we have a mission to the state of Colorado, which is where the bulk of our work is done, to be able to provide clinically competent care to each of the communities that we serve. The current shortage on healthcare providers, kind of across the board, makes it really difficult for us to fulfill that mission.
The program launched earlier this week. UC Health says they're investing up to $50 million into the program over the next several years. Less than 24 hours since Douglas County Superintendent Corey Wise was terminated, students are already planning to walk out of class on Monday to support Wise. Wise was terminated after the new conservative majority voiced concerns with the direction of the district. Denver 7's Patrick Perez has more from the teachers union about what comes next with this new uncertainty.
I spoke with the union president earlier today. He says some of his members have already expressed wanting to leave the district or retire early because of last night's vote and the direction of this board, but some parents say that is overblown. Douglas County School District Superintendent Corey Wise's 26-year career with the district came to an end Friday night.
Measure is passed 4-3.
All four newly elected board members voted to fire him, gaining the majority vote to do so. We watched as district employees and parents tearfully said goodbye to Wise, who served as a superintendent for just under a year.
I am personally and professionally extremely disappointed.
Kevin DePasquale, president of the Douglas County Federation, the union representing some Dougco teachers and staff, warns the vote will have some lasting consequences.
I do expect to see a high percentage of staff leaving Douglas County schools.
The four majority members cited concerns with Wise's leadership style, his involvement in mask mandates, and his connection with the three other board members among reasons he should be fired. DePasquale says those reasons are weak and non-existent.
These are dark times for Douglas County schools, knowing that the decisions that were made were done without cause and without relevance to what it takes to run a school district.
At Friday night's meeting were parents like Miles Cortez III, who are in support of the new board members and expect big changes.
I don't think it's unreasonable to have change at the top when you've got to change at the board.
Hundreds of people attended a rally Thursday in support of Wise, including teachers and students. But Cortez believes talks by the union about losing a lot of staff to this decision may be overblown.
I think the teachers that leave are probably teachers that we're happy to have leave.
As a parent, he wants to see the board and the community come together, but that may take some time, as some say the division has never been greater.
It's unfathomable that they would behave in such a manner.
I reached out to Wise today to get his reaction to last night's vote. His family says he is not yet ready to talk. I also requested interviews with those four board members who voted to fire him, but no one was available. However, Board President Mike Peterson put out a statement last night saying in part, "I recognize this is an emotional time for our community and want you to know I am committed to restoring peace and unity to our school district with a continued focus on educating our children." For now, two deputy superintendents are stepping in as the board now looks forward to replacing Weiss. We're in Castle Rock. I'm Patrick Perez, Denver 7.
Patrick, thank you. The four conservative members who voted to fire Superintendent Wise were each elected in November, but the political influence on the school board likely began years ago. We spoke to a parent who says outside money began pouring in all the way back in 2009.
At that time, we had a lot of outside money coming in from outside interests coming into our school board, and it was shocking to see at that time.
Now, Colorado state legislators are looking to make sure this doesn't happen again. The Colorado Sun reports that new legislation passed a House committee on Monday would limit individual campaign contributions to $2,500 and small committee contributions to $25,000 per candidate. Right now, school board members are one of the few elected offices in the state with no contribution cap. To give you perspective, just 29 donors gave more than $600,000 to different races last year. More than half of that went to the campaigns of the four new Dougco board members. Something old now turned into something brand new for the entire community to enjoy. See the $1 million improvements made to one Denver Metro skate park. And the Winter Olympics are underway. We'll have the latest on the games from Beijing.
I'm meteorologist Stacey Donaldson. We had a nice warm up today, highs in the 40s. Now the wind was a little biting, but this morning to tomorrow morning, we're going to have temperatures in the 20s into the 30s as we get toward noon with a cold front coming through. I'll let you know whether or not we'll see any snow with that front coming up.